we go, loop-de-loop, round and round we go. Where it stops, nobody knows. This is Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. The Maniacy continues. I'm your host, Pat Remwick. We are live from the Forrest Wood Cup 2018 at the some convention center in Arkansas. I'm not even sure where the hell we are. But
That'd be the Hot Springs.
Hot Springs Convention Center, says Mark S. Copley. Give it up for Mark Copley right there.
Yay.
Yes. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Look at your adoring fans.
That was a round of applause.
Yes, the S is for superstar.
Superstar.
Superstar
Or
Copley.
just sexy.
Yeah, straight up sexy.
That would be
Not-
big sexy.
Big sexy.
Big sexy to you. And of course, that voice you hear over there and see is FLW Tour Pro, the one and only Billy McDonald. He's in.
Hey.
My old buddy from way back, my correspondent from the Bass Buzz radio days.
Correspondent. I like that.
Yeah, I just thought of that like about 20 minutes ago.
Sounds good. I can't spell it, but it does sound
I can't
good.
either, but I wish that when you were doing the radio show, I would have thought of that correspondent thing.
Hey, we could have kept it wet.
Yeah, you know. Hashtag keep it wet.
Hashtag keep it wet.
Why don't you use that on Instagram, Billy?
It'll probably be there from now on.
And sitting all the way to the right is Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Ryan
Trying
Whitaker
to-
is answering your questions on the social media. So if you have any questions for Mark Copley, but not Billy McDonald, field them to Ryan.
Yes, please ask me questions.
Yes.
I
am ready.
questions.
Yeah.
I'm good at questions.
But seriously, man, known you guys for a long time, friends from past, present, and future, and you guys were both predominant fixtures on the Bass Buzz radio show, where I cut my teeth.
We have
You cut your
made a couple of appearances.
Yes, and it's a whole evolutionary process. And my question to you guys is, how do you feel about the evolutionary process of bass fishing media? Okay, and I'm gonna field it. I'm going right off the bat. I'm going for the throat right off the bat here, Mark, because Billy, back in the day, the whole social media thing really wasn't as much.
Wasn't there.
It wasn't there, and if it was very minuscule. You know what I mean? And now it's evolved, hasn't it, Mark? It's really evolved.
Absolutely. Well, for example, at Strike King and Lose, we do a annual writers conference. It's not a writers conference, but that's what it started as.
Sure.
It was writers.
You guys go to
That's what
Kentucky
you
Lake
had.
and whoop it up, right?
There were no social media, no communicators.
Right.
But, with radio and TV and video and internet and YouTube and this and that, I mean, there's a full gamut.
Yeah, absolutely. And Billy, we see you on social media all the time. Your progression has gone. You're climbing the mountain in social media also.
I mean, it's mandatory.
It is. Would it be appropriate to say that it may be a necessary evil? Is evil a bad word to put in there?
It's a very necessary evil.
Okay.
Evil may be a strong word, but
But I mean,
you mentioned Billy climbing.
yes.
If only his height would climb as high as his social media numbers.
He'd be a giant. He'd be a megalodon of the industry.
I carry a 5-gallon bucket so I can see.
Went
So
to
it's
Home
all
Depot
good.
right before you got here,
Yeah,
didn't you?
that's right.
Got yourself a bucket. But no, it's crazy because what we see here in the industry is a whole different type of bass fishing professional that has evolved out of social media. Now, my definition of a professional fisherman is someone that makes a living in the fishing industry. Okay?
How about that?
That's what I'm saying. But now it seems that it's come to the fact that everybody is a professional fisherman. There's so many professional fishermen now, self-proclaimed.
professional wisherman.
There we
Nice,
go.
Ryan. Congratulations, Ryan, on that one.
We just
Popcorn guy.
now we know why we have Ryan with us.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's a JP quote, though.
Professional wisherman.
Professional
That comes from
wisherman.
JP High, the hip hop fisherman.
He said it once. I don't know if it's an original.
But how did this happen? What do you think? What's your take, Mark?
Well, I think you've got so many different ways for people to communicate nowadays. It's not like you had to have a radio station or a TV station to get that message out.
Right.
Social media is obviously a huge thing nowadays.
Huge.
With YouTube and Facebook and
The tweeter twatters and all that.
the tweeters and I'm not a tweeter, I don't think, but Instagram.
Maybe a Twitter.
But it's, so us as someone in the industry with products that we sell, it's great for us because the more we get the word out about things, a certain rod and reel or lure or anything like that.
Sure.
It's good for us.
Absolutely, it is. So the increased exposure from basically for next to nothing
Oh, absolutely.
is what it comes down to.
Oh, I look back in the days of even before cameras that are affordable now, to do a TV show, you had an investment of several $100,000, not only in camera equipment, but also in editing equipment.
Sure.
And it was with the invention of newer and less expensive cameras, anybody, if you've got a laptop, you can edit now.
Yeah.
Easy.
Doesn't mean that you have talent, but anyone can go out and edit something together.
I remember Bill Dance telling me a story. But speaking of investment in equipment, I remember Bill Dance telling me a story a long time ago about how he had invested so much money, his company, into the equipment for making his television show. And they were doing a show one time, and his cameraman went to take a nap by a tree with the camera. And when his cameraman woke up, he forgot that the camera was there. Okay? So in other words, who knows what was going on with that cameraman, but he woke up and the camera was gone. The cameraman left the camera. Okay? So long story short, they're at the restaurant afterwards, and Bill's like, where's the camera? Where's the camera? And the guy's like, I don't know. Bill Dance goes back, and then he gets back to the site, and there's somebody holding his camera. And Bill's like, that's my camera.
The only times I've seen Bill get mad on TV is in those bloopers when the cameraman falls in the water with the camera.
That's right. That's
that
Mark's
tells
point.
you
It's
how expensive that
It's a
is.
small investment there.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, losing one camera at that phase of Bill Dance's career could have been just,
Oh, absolutely.
It could have been a devastating effect right there. There's no doubt, but it brings it to it now. I mean, we can do shows with cell phones now.
Yep.
We can do,
Which is crazy.
That's the evolution of the.
And high quality. That's what you don't
Yeah.
understand. A simple iPhone shoots in 4K resolution.
I know.
Now, it's not the same as a more expensive 4K camera. It's still 4K resolution.
Pretty close.
It's pretty stinking close.
Yeah.
Also, in the evolution of bass fishing has come to fruition the technology to make amazing baits. And I say this most sincerely. This show is not sponsored by Strike King Lure, but I've used Strike King for years. The evolution of Strike King and the quality of the baits, no matter who people are, whether they are sponsored by Strike King or not, pretty much everybody's got Strike King baits in their boat,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
How does that make you feel? I mean, everybody
has a
does.
Strike King bait.
It's. I had a conversation with an undisclosed Bass Fishing Elite Series professional last weekend, and he's like, I wish I was sponsored by Strike King. I mean, he flat out said it. He's like, they got the best stuff out there, and everybody's using your stuff, man. How does that make you feel as a representative of the Strike King company?
Oh,
it's got to be satisfying.
Absolutely, it is. We've been very blessed at Strike King in the fact that we started just a little over 50 years ago, and started as a spinnerbait company that was bought out of Bill McEwen's garage when Charles Spence bought it.
Absolutely, and I think the first hard crankbait, I guess you could put it as, that I ever caught a fish on was a Spence Scout.
The old. I have one.
Do you?
I do.
I got 4 or 5 of them still.
You do. You all got all kinds of stuff stashed.
I wish I had a balsa one.
I know, and
That's what I've got.
He's got the balsa shop stuff. He's got the shad bait, and then that flat side that Mark
But
Rose stole from him.
Do
He's
you
got
have
all that.
one that's made out of tongue?
The old Gelia tongs, yes. I remember
Whose
those.
tongue?
Yeah,
Gelia. Have you not met Gelia?
he's an Italian
I
guy.
missed
Gelatin?
Because I got a Gelia tongue.
No, that's that special wood, the Gelia tongue
Yep.
wood. That for a
Yep.
while the Charles Spence was having them made out of that
Yep.
stuff, and it was kind of like it would have been a predecessor to, like, I guess the size of a bait like your new KVD 1.5 DD, maybe just a little smaller than
Right.
that actually.
Right.
And that was a fish catching machine, dude.
They were. It's it's the funny thing is it's not like they still won't catch fish today.
Of course they will.
But everything is cyclical, and you always got to have that latest greatest, which we try to do, and that's how we push the bar. Is we look at trends, and we try to find something that's out there that, or if it's not out there, to make it.
Don't be surprised if it don't show back up.
Well, I've heard that about the balsa shop baits too from you guys, and that still hasn't shown back up.
Rose hopes they don't, because there's not many of us
Yeah,
that's got them left.
I know you got some in Greenwood though, don't you?
I guarantee.
No, don't you? But and now I'm going to take credit for something here. Okay. Now
Hey, you might as well. No one else will give you credit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's my show, so I'm taking credit for it. So I'm going all the way back Bass Buzz Radio days. We're going back 10 years ago. All right.
Okay.
When did the KVD 1.5 first come out? What was that?
It was right before Kevin won the Classic on Lake Catawatchee in New Orleans. It was about
2011.
2011. It was about 3 months before the Classic is when they came out. They had already started coming out a little bit.
Gotcha.
And funny story, and I'll let you get. Sorry, I just
keep going.
hijacked
Yeah,
you.
that's fine. Take over, Mark.
So Kevin, the bait that Kevin fished with was supposed to be a chartreuse blackback,
The Chattahoochee Special.
the Chattahoochee Special. Well,
Yes.
the funny thing is, the ones that he got, they had accidentally left the gill plate and the black mark on the black circle on the side off.
Right.
Well,
Just had the red on the gill. Underneath, I mean.
exactly.
Oh, just
it
underneath.
did not have the on the side or anything on the side.
Right.
Well, people didn't want to buy a chartreuse blackback. They said, no, that's not what Kevin wanted. I want the one he wanted with.
That's right.
So now we have the Catawatchee Special, which does not have the black dot or the red gill plate, and we have the regular 535 chartreuse blackback.
Hold your tongue and say Catawatchee Special.
Catawatee Special.
That's phenomenal right there. So here's where I'm going.
My
now.
tongue's nasty.
That was phenomenal.
And I'm not holding.
Yeah, Billy was over going, I'll do it.
Negative.
So way back, so I guess it would be about 2012. So about 7 years ago or something. What year is this? Do you know?
18.
Still 18.
Still 18. So 7 years ago or something. When you guys were on the Bass Buzz Radio Show, I'm like, this 1.5 is the most amazing bait. It's phenomenal, but you know what we need is a 1.5 DD. Okay? And Billy's like, don't worry, Pat, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming out. And then you guys come out with the flat side version of it. Okay? So Billy was like, oh, it's going to be here this year. And then all of a sudden you released the flat side version of it, which is a great bait. But it took this long for you guys to bring my idea to fruition of the KVD 1.5 DD.
Well,
It's coming.
it's coming.
And why is my name not on the package?
Some guy with 3 initials said something about he wanted his initials on there.
Calling bullshit right now.
Some jackleg.
Yeah.
That's the magic of a
fella.
bass fishing talk show right there.
Exactly.
That's
It's Mr. Jackleg. though.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. He hit me in the face with a spinnerbait one time, so he's still just a jackleg.
Yeah, and he
Seems
probably
like he does that a lot.
he could do that from a
Seen him do that
distance
a
too.
lot.
And,
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, but the fun part of that one was it was from the inside out.
what?
Okay, outside in.
outside in.
Outside cut it all the way through.
Oh,
Yeah, we were filming on St. Clair,
okay,
and Kevin throws a 7'6" spinnerbait rod,
right.
and he lets it hang out about 800 yards.
Fires it like a surf caster.
And I'm down there with the camera. This was back when I was filming our TV shows, and I'm down there with the camera, and I'm sitting there like this. Next thing I know, whack,
Smacked you.
hits me right upside the face with a half-ounce spinnerbait, put a hole in my cheek.
Did he really?
Yeah.
All the way through.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's looking at me going, oh, God, dude, this is bad. Dude. He said, dude, at least 800 times. And I said, okay, well, let's go. He goes, well, wait a second. We got to do a close.
So what did you do? Put
I
duct
said,
tape
so
on
it's
it?
not that bad.
It's not that bad. He just duct tape and super glued it real
That's
quick,
right.
didn't he? And who paid for the hospital bill, Strike King or Kevin Van Dam?
Well, he did stay with me at the hospital to make sure that I
Good.
was okay.
Go ahead
Excellent.
and tell her a story. He stayed and held your hand.
He stayed and held my hand. I didn't need I don't know why he held my hand, because I really didn't want my hand held, but he held it anyway.
You actually could have used a cold compress on
That's
the
right.
cheek, but it was not happening. It was not happening. So I'm fascinated by this 1.5 DD. So and I have not thrown one yet, even though
It's money.
Is it hunt?
Oh, yeah. And that's what it started probably 7.
When I gave you the idea.
Yeah. Well, that's the story, and you can stick to it.
Okay.
Anyway,
Back to the show.
back to the show. No, our thing is we're not going to release something unless it's right.
Gotcha.
And it was just not right. It didn't hunt until it took, I don't know how many different prototypes to go through. This one's money. This one it's that same hunting action, but you can get it down to 9 foot deep.
Right, and it'll still bounce off a cover at those
Still
depths.
bounce. And that's what a square bill is designed for. A square bill is designed to hit something and deflect. That's the beauty of a square bill.
Sure.
Hey, and just think of it this way. It might be better than our competitors' bait that everybody's hunting for that's no longer made. Like it used to be.
Really?
The old WW.
You know, yeah, we might take some compound W to get rid of it,
Green
but,
Phantom Craw.
You know, just saying.
Really? So I haven't thought of it that way, actually. So the buoyancy is still that of a KVD 1.5,
Yes.
yet it still has that deflective and hunting action
Yep.
that WW bait
And this is still a square bill,
It's still a square bill.
and it just gets down.
It just gets down.
What's making it get deeper?
The
long
bill,
guys.
the bill is a little
bill.
longer.
Okay.
But it took a lot of it was working with the internal weighting and getting that right, and just making sure that it had the perfect balance, the perfect buoyancy, and it's just when here's the thing, Kevin's not going to put his name on anything if it isn't ready.
Right, like the KVD jerk bait, dude. Seriously, how long did it take for you guys to get? That's an example of getting something right.
Yeah, and it did take a while, but the thing is that once we nailed it with the J200, which is the shorter one, the 2-hook model,
Right.
and the J300, which is the 3-hook model, we had it nailed. Then it made it that much easier to get the deep model done, which will go down to about 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I still think there's a niche bait there, or a niche area where we make a J200 deep.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yes.
Please.
Yeah. That
I won't have to wrap
especially where we
lead
fish.
wire on the hooks.
So
That's that 200 is amazing. You can really do
it's
a
a
lot with it.
perfect profile for what you're trying to do with the jerk bait.
Yeah.
So, in an evolution of, let's use hard baits for an example, is it done all on the field, or is it done in a controlled test environment? Or is it a combination of both? How does Strike King go about that?
It's a combination of both. There are a lot of our pros are very involved in the process of making baits the way they should be. They're given to them, they're tested with them, and we take all those comments in and we listen and like, hey, it doesn't do this, needs to do this. That's all taken. So I mean, the process. That's like with the 1.5 deep. It's a process of it takes a while to get it where it's that perfect bait.
Right, and I see that. So, does the same thing apply with soft plastic baits? Is it the same kind of, or is that something that's easier? Are you looking?
It's a little easier done in the fact that you're looking at a mold, but I mean, you still got to make prototypes and look at actions, especially if it's like in our rage tail action. I mean, that's a very unique action that's been patented. That
Right.
I don't know. There's a couple baits out there that, and we're talking about. There's a lot of guys out there, especially on, and Billy, correct me if I'm wrong, but on both the Bass Elites and the FLW Tour, that whether they're sponsored by us or not, a lot of them have rage crawls or rage bugs in their boat.
100% and menaces.
And menaces.
The menaces are huge.
And those baits might not be in the manufacturer's bags. They
Yeah.
might be in a brand X bag.
Yep.
That's right, or just a clear plastic
So,
baggie.
well, so
Yeah.
somebody say doesn't get in trouble for throwing the wrong bait.
Sure.
And it's, but no, it makes it. I get warm and fuzzy when I see. And what's cool, there's a lot of guys out there that they don't care. If they catch it and win it on something, they talk about it.
Sure, absolutely. And
And it's not because we gave it to them.
As they should.
And
I think.
because they can get busted out a lot easier
Oh.
now because of bringing
Yep.
it back to our initial social
Social
media
media
thing and the
deal.
coverage of the sport.
okay.
You know, so it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I did, we saw it with Gerald Swindle at the last Bassmaster Classic. He had said, hey, I'm not sponsored by the Z-Man Jackhammer Chatterbait, but I got about $650 worth of them in the bottom of my boat right
Yep,
now.
yep.
It's because you have to do something like that.
And the honesty in that helps with the public, and they understand. He didn't. It wasn't given. He didn't have to say that about that bait.
Exactly.
So-
Right. Exactly. And I think Billy nailed it too with that that as far as in bringing it back to that undisclosed elite professional that had shared with me about that, everyone is throwing Strike King baits, and I think that is probably the most popular brand thrown by anglers that are not sponsored by them.
It's a complete package. You look at Strike King.
Right.
Yeah, everything.
What do we need? I mean, we got flipping hooks.
That's true.
We got spinner baits, we got buzz baits, we got all the hard baits, we got topwater baits, we got all the plastic baits, we got the tungsten weights, we got the Carolina weights.
Got crappie bugs.
I mean, it's a one-stop shop.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
They're affordable.
Yeah.
That's kind of our
Yeah.
mantra is that we want to put the best affordable bait out there that anyone can go and purchase it.
And I'm going to tell you another
You
example.
have crushed it, too.
Yeah, you crushed
That's
it.
amazing.
Thank you. Another example of it too is a direct effect on a competitor's square bill crankbait. And I'm gonna just flat out say it. Look what happened with the Lucky Craft 1.5. Okay, awesome bait. I'm gonna tell you, it's a great bait. And there's two plastic square bills that I throw. It's a Lucky Craft and a Strike King 1.5. But I think what happened was you, as a company, Strike King as a company, actually kind of forced the hand of Lucky Craft to bring their prices down. And correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm just looking at things the wrong way, but I mean, we saw Lucky Craft 1.5s go from $15.99 to $7.99 and $6.99 and $5.99 because everybody's buying the KVD 1.5s that'll do the same thing. Yeah, I mean, is that an accurate statement?
Maybe, and honestly, look, people charge. I don't think any people sit around and say, hey, I'm just going to charge this for this because this is what I think. I mean, there's a cost analysis that goes into it.
Sure.
I'm sure there's some things that made that price point be that way.
Right.
But you're right. So, I mean, who knows? Sometimes they say, well, ours sitting on the shelf for not helping us. We may have to bring it down.
I think it is a direct result, and that's something that happened there.
And that's nothing negative against Lucky Craft. I think
not at
that-
all.
No.
No, not
Man, they
at
make
all.
a beautiful jerkbait.
Absolutely.
And a gunfish, and they make
Sure.
some beautiful stuff.
Absolutely, they do. But just another example of the impact that Strike King Lure Company has had on the fishing industry, all the way back from the Spence Scout to the evolution of the Rage baits to the 1.5 to the 1.5 DD, the entire spectrum as Bill McDonald.
And it's not going to slow down.
It's not.
And one thing, my favorite thing about buying a bag of Strike King plastics is the inserts.
The
Those
clamshell?
plastic
They're
inserts.
perfect.
Yeah.
If I buy a bag of any other plastics where the plastics are all just in there, there's 5 of them I'm going to throw out because the tail's crimped or whatever.
They're
But
gonna be
I buy
perfect
Strike
in
King,
those
they're going to be
clamshells.
good. I don't even look. Just pull it out, rig it, throw it.
Well, and the same thing with our crankbaits. Our hard baits, pull them out of the package, they work. Mm-hmm. You know,
Exactly.
It's not something you got to pull out of the package. You got to spend 15 minutes trying to tune it.
Right.
It's got the right components on it. It's set up the right way, and it works.
Billy, what's your favorite flip bait? If you had to pick one.
Right now,
Yeah.
Rage Bug.
The Rage Bug. And it seems to kind of
Give him the choice of water temperature.
Ooh.
What am I going to flip?
Okay, yeah. 62 degrees.
Rage bug.
Rage bug. 58 degrees.
Rage bug.
79 degrees.
Rage bug.
Rage
45.
Rage bug. Let me tell you something. The rage bug is the most universal bait that I think Strike King has ever made. It's a flipping bait. You can swim the bait. It's a trailer bait.
Sure. It's amazing on a
It's
swim jig.
It's a Carolina rig bait.
And you can do different things to it.
Yeah.
You can size it down. So if you're getting too much action, trim off those side flanges.
Exactly.
You know,
Cut it down.
if you're going to put it on a vibrating jig, you know, you can lay it flat ways so it swims like this. Turn it sideways, pull one arm off of it, swim sideways. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with that rage bug that if I'm going to carry one plastic bait, it's a rage bug.
That's the one. And why did it replace the rodent to you? I know you used to love that rodent.
And I still throw
You used to
the
snuggle
rodent.
with rodents.
There are
at night.
times when a rodent is, and it's, so if that water is 50 degrees or less, I'm probably going to throw a rodent because it's a little less action.
Mm-hmm.
But,
gotcha.
you know, there's
More
a time
subtle.
and a place for both.
If I'm punching heavy cover, I'll throw a rodent. It'll slip in a little easier than a rage bug.
I agree.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
if I don't have the rodent, I pull two arms off, and I got a rodent.
And then he's
And back to the rage bug. There it is, right there.
So, like I said, I just overall, it's the most universal bait I think that they make in plastic.
It is, and it's kind of taken the soft plastic industry by storm, and there has been numerous attempts at duplication of that rage, that whole rage process.
It's flattering, but it's frustrating.
So when you say it's patented, how are people getting around that?
It's in the flange that's patented.
Okay.
There's only a certain way. They can get really close, but there's certain, and I don't know all the exact specifications of what it, but I mean, trust me, we watch.
I'm sure you have to.
But look, it's the most sincere form of flattery there is.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely it is. The what's next for Strike King? What's in the works? Give us a little sneak peek, a preview, an exclusive.
You were at ICAST, weren't you?
I was not, no.
Oh, you missed out on some good stuff.
Well, clue us in, catch us up.
Have you seen the Mega Dog?
Yes, I've seen the Mega Dog,
The big crossover. Think about what that bait can do.
the big old dog walker.
The big dog. The big dog's in the house. And
Nice.
yes, big baits catch big fish.
Absolutely.
But
It's a
yeah,
no-call bait.
It's a no.
It's a no-call bait. That's a great. But think about what fish are bigger than bass. Stripers.
Stripers, peacock bass too.
How about big giant redfish?
Whoa.
You want
Yes,
to
sir.
catch a big redfish on top water?
That's the deal.
You talking about flushing the toilet on a 35-pounder? Oh, boosh!
Absolutely. Or tarpon.
Tarpon.
Tarpon will
Have your heart checked before you go try this.
And there's little tricks that you can do, and I've learned this because I used to film our TV shows and working with our saltwater guys. There's little tricks you can do because there's always grass when you're fishing the inshore. So take a circle hook, take the regular treble hooks off, you put 2 split rings and then a circle hook on there. It flays up fine, and then you can walk it across grass.
Wow.
Oh, what about this? Let's take the back hook off and connect 2 together and make a mega dog.
A mega dog. Move
And
over a
then
little
go-
dog and let the mega dog move in.
What do you think about catching maybe 2 big giant fish?
Have you ever thought of asking George Thorogood if you could use the rights to his song "Move It On Over"
Briefly.
briefly for the mega dog? But then it didn't
Briefly
work.
thought
I
about
thought
it.
about it, and then I also thought about what George would probably say. You know, we could do that
But
for a price.
For a price.
He thought about it, then he thought about something
And
else.
it'll cost you more than a few mega dogs, won't
affirmative.
it? It'll cost you
Yeah, I
more
don't think a lifetime supply of mega dogs would even cut it.
Mark, is it true that that Bill McDonald is Randy Powers?
There's rumors out there.
That's what I'm hearing.
I do like a jig. I'll put it that way.
His jig game is
His
strong.
hands-
I got a strong jig game.
Look, I got to tell you, I don't know who it is,
Okay.
and I don't want to know. but I think it's been good just to kind of throw some stuff out there that may,
Keep some people in check.
that people wouldn't say. That, to me, it's one of the funniest things. Can it get out of hand? I'm sure it can.
Yeah, it's
But-
like anything.
I watch
I
you
love
every day to see what he's got to come up with next. It's like, okay, Randy's at it again.
And
In
who
fact,
knows?
We've
He
texted
may
back-
be here.
We texted
She may,
night.
we don't know if it's a he or
Yeah.
she. That's the other thing.
We panicked the other night. Like I said, it come on that Randy Flowers was out. He's done. And then I'm panicking. I'm texting Mark, and he's texting me, and then all of a sudden it come up, and Randy Flowers posted. He said, "I'm back."
He's back.
I did a screenshot and sent it to Mark. I said, "We're still in business." So.
So, Randy, if you're listening, please stay around. Don't go
Oh,
anywhere.
yeah.
I heard it was the ghost of Doug Hannon. That's the real.
It could be.
Is that true or no?
I don't know. I honestly don't. Someone said, "You know who it is," or
Well, he's
it's-
on
or-
your pro
or it's
staff for
you.
crying out loud.
And I told them, I said, I will bet you my house and every dollar I earn from this point forward that A, I don't know who it is, and B, he is not on my pro staff.
He's on everybody's pro
He's
staff.
on everybody's
Yeah.
pro staff.
Leave
And
it
look,
right-
I'm not a bettor, so for me to say that's I
Not
knew
a
that
betting
was a
man.
sure bet.
Not a betting man. Hey, guys, seriously, always a good time with you guys when we get together.
Man, I love full contact TV and radio.
it
This is fun.
You want to practice karate in the garage after we're
I
done?
know. I really wanted to wear a helmet when we did this.
I got a question from Kent
Asian
Brown.
carp.
Oh, wait, Kent Brown has, Andy, the producer's chiming in here. Kent Brown has a question.
So it's for Copley. He says, the show that Cody and he did at Clear Lake, is that better than the show that him and Zona did, in your opinion?
That me and Zona did?
Yeah.
Oh, Kent could never keep up with me. Cody did really, really well. I'm not so sure about Kent.
Also, James Overstreet says, Copley, that's my dude.
That's my
J.O. is my man. I actually thought about stopping off on the way over here to go see my homeboy. One of the best
James.
photographers in the business.
James, set your standards a little higher, bud.
So we play game shows here, and we don't feel that it's appropriate to leave our guests without playing a bass fishing game show.
I like shows.
Yeah, so
I like
we're,
games.
We're gonna play a game, and we'll switch it off between the two of you, and let's play just the quick tip with these guys. What do you say? Ah, yes, it's time for just the quick tip with Mark Copley and Billy McDonald, Strike King edition of just the quick tip. The first goes to you. Just give us a quick tip right now. Prop bait. Quick
Prop
tip.
baits.
Quick tip.
Put a little electric tape in front of your line, on your line in front of the knot.
Oh,
Ooh.
for no tangle?
What?
No line around your prop.
No line.
That is a great.
Wow.
Wow.
That could be the best tip ever that we just got.
Wait a minute. Is that works with braid?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't give a tip. I've never thrown a prop
Just
bait.
solve-
Okay, well,
We don't make one.
You just solved a lot of my problems.
Okay, we'll make it easy for you. Okay, keep going. Let's play just the quick tip. Mark Copley's turn. Here it is, right now. You ready?
Still
Mono.
digging this
It's
music.
it. It's bass fishing porno. That's what it is. It's amazing.
Mark, don't get into it.
I'll stop.
Here you go. Spoon plugging.
Oh, we go from fishing porn to spoon plug.
Mark Copley.
I don't
spoon
know what
plugging.
we're plugging.
Spoon plugging.
Put a little lead tape on your spoon.
A little lead tape on the spoon. Get it down there, Buck Perry style.
Man, 2 tips of tape.
Buck Perry style.
You got to be careful. It's got to be the right amount.
There it is. Just,
I ain't touching that one.
just the quick tip.
Just a little on
from
the
Mark
tip.
Copley, right there.
I thought my Mega Dog tip was a really good tip.
It was. But
Of course, I saw it. See, that's like me. I just kind of throw a little Hail Mary and get it done quick, and then
throw that Texas leaguer up
the
there.
problem was we were in timeout, so it didn't work.
2-minute penalty.
Billy Mack's just a quick tip. Floating docks.
Floating docks.
Floating docks.
Skip and jig.
Skip and jig. And the floating dive.
Swim the jig underneath the dock and kill it when you get to the edge.
What is it? The structure bug or the Andy Montgomery jig?
Oh no, we're throwing the Andy Montgomery jig with a structure bug on it.
Look at that. Look how he did that right there.
That was nice.
That was amazing. That was amazing right there.
I could have answered that one.
You could have. Mark Copley. Finesse worm. Finesse worm. Just a quick tip.
Carolina Riggit.
Carolina Riggit. Wow. Whoa. Little Mark Copley songbook secret weapon. What's going on over there? People fighting?
No, there's a girl getting in a
Somebody's
casket.
in the casket.
Oh, that's that boat casket.
Oh,
over
glory.
there. Yes.
Oh glory!
That's kind of obscene.
How did you know? How did you know her name?
There's just something just a little freaky about that.
If you're looking for the straight
if
cast
that
booth,
lid comes down,
we're directly across from the boat casket booth. You can find the straight cast booth right next to the boat casket.
Quick question
I
about
hope
the
that's
boat
not an
casket.
omen.
Why does it have an engine? Who's driving?
Jesus,
The driver's dead.
God's driving.
it's headed to glory.
Always, always. Here it is. Last one. Just the quick tip to Bill McDonald. Fishing the laydown.
Fishing to lay down. You want to drag it, you want to touch it, you want to bump it.
That is a quick tip right there from Bill McDonald's. Drag it, touch it, and bump it when you're on the laydown. Now that is a bass fishing.
And make sure
That can
you
apply in several things.
That's-
and you keep it wet.
And you keep it wet. Words of wisdom, hashtag keep it wet. Bill McDonald.
Hashtag keep it wet.
Hashtag keep it wet. It's
Soak
the
it
new
and let 'em
Strike
choke
King
it.
slogan that has come out now. Mark, thank you so much.
Pat, thank
Bill
you.
McDonald, thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Amazing. Hey, for
Brian,
all
enjoyed
of you, this concludes our broadcast for the day from the Expo Center here in Arkansas for the Forrest Wood Cup 2018. We're about to go to the weigh-in and check things out, but we will return tomorrow morning. What time? Like 10 o'clock this opens up or something tomorrow, Ginge? So we'll be back around tomorrow. Until then, put the power poles down and don't go anywhere. Just wait right here for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I'm Pat Renwick. Peace, Bass Galaxy.
Hashtag keep it wet.
Hashtag keep it wet.